he could actually possibly contain. By the way, again, another PGR award here for INnoVation, this time as the top Terran player of the year. And you can see this guy's got a sick TVT ratio, 13-6, and in Pro League in total, he's 43-26. This guy's been around the block in Pro League. He's back now, and he's on a sick team. Definitely the best pickup that SKT could have hoped for. And, you know, he has to fill a void that is kind of left, you know, Terran-wise by two players that really underperformed.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of has to fill the void for Protoss as well. Even though he's not a Protoss player, he has to fill that hole as a solid, you know, very great bread and butter player for this team.
SKT was always known to have, like, not that many Terrans that came out, not a lot of strong Terrans that came out. They had famous Terrans, definitely in Fantasy, but never really had that Terran ball, but now they do, and he's going up against center. You were saying we haven't seen this guy in a long time. He's never played in Pro League.
He's never played in Pro League. We don't have too much time to talk about this guy before this game gets started, but I'll absolutely give you guys a little bit of background and history if I get a chance to as soon as we get into this game, because this guy has a lot of StarCraft 2 history. I actually feel like he's one of the saddest stories of StarCraft 2, and I'll get into that a little bit more in depth in just a moment here as we go into Catallena for game number 2.
Down here in the bottom right on Catallena, the red Terran from SK Telecom. It is INnoVation.
Fitting color here for not only INnoVation, but his team. The top right in blue, his opponent, center. Let me talk about center a little bit. And, of course, as always, in TVT, you're going to be keeping a close eye on those gases. Center has a history of coming from a team called TSL. TSL is a team that existed back in, I think it was formed in 2011. It was around for several years. One of the more solid teams in GSTL. We have a pause here, so what a great time to actually talk about some old StarCraft 2 history.
You go ahead, Wolf. I'll let you do it.
TSL was a team that was headed by a man called Coach Lee, who was an insanely good coach. I actually was very close to them, knew him really well. I went to the house a lot. He was able to see potential in players so early on in their careers. He was able to see, you know, potential in players after they came to the house for even a week. He was always a big proponent of giving players second chances as well if they had a lot of tough times. But this guy made some great choices in the GSTL. He always knew when to send his players out in what order. It was the team full of Zergs. You might recognize the name Symbol. Symbol comes from this team. Pretty much every solid player that came from TSL is still around in some form today. Even if you think about Ragnarok, that guy's still around.
Yeah, he's still around.
You know, it's still doing well. Center really came into his own at the very end of TSL's life. When TSL disbanded, Center was actually at his tip-top form, and unfortunately kind of struggled to find a solid team from then on to actually grasp onto, to hook onto, and give him the practice regimen that he needed to actually continue to utilize that potential that he had, that Coach Lee saw in him. And Center was, at the end of like that time in TSL, wasn't even a great player, but he was ramping up. And suddenly, you know, Callard and I were commentating his game saying, this guy's getting better. He's getting better and better. And then he kind of disappeared for a while. And I'm so happy to see that he didn't retire, because I know that he posted several times he was considering retiring. A lot of people thought that he retired for a while. He may have even technically retired and then, you know, returned to StarCraft. But just to see this old familiar face of a player that has so much potential finally on a team with a good coaching staff, with a great practice regimen that he needs, makes me really happy. The same way that I get really happy when I see, for example, Bravo moving teams and having him like fill a bigger role finally than I think he had when he was on SKT.
Yeah, definitely getting his time to shine in the spotlight was Bravo winning his game yesterday. But guys, for this, it looks like we just have some kind of problem with the stream over here, so we are going to have to wait and see. Neither of the players have paused this, so they're gonna have to wait and see as well.
There was some static, and I heard it as well. I think that's what they're talking about. I heard it in the headset. I don't know if you guys got that or not. Hopefully not, but it looks like everything is okay. I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, and it looks like the two players are saying, let's get into the game. They're saying go, go, yo.
Yeah. And looks like everything is set to go.
Well,
they're going to use a countdown timer here, it says in the chat. You guys can't see it, of course. And I guess for most of you, even if you did, you couldn't read it. But the game is resumed. Nothing has changed. And we just got to talk about a little bit of TSL history here. So let's see what Center brings to the table today.
Yeah, really looking forward to see if he's well practiced, if he's really trying to become a big player. Because, again, like I like to say a lot of the time, usually even if a player has talent, if he's not practicing, he's not going to become anything that big. So if this guy's practicing, I feel like the MVP house is definitely one with a very good atmosphere. You know, everybody's on this new team, you know, trying to work together and do really well together. So I think he should be good. Whereas INnoVation, you know, you definitely know that guy's practicing.
Oh, for sure. So gas-wise here for these two, identical timings. Very early gases, so very aggressive gas timings coming out. Because they come out at the same time, you know, neither player is going to have a tech advantage as they're, you know, basically coming out at about 4 gas off of each other. Not a huge difference there. And both players will be able to, if they scout, react accordingly. So with a gas first build, the Marine is delayed. So if you get lucky on Catallena and scout your opponent by ground first, you'll be able to see that he went gas first because the Marine can't deny that. And that's when players get to make interesting choices because they know, okay, he's going to try to rush me with something. Should I make a Raven instead with my extra gas? Or should I just try to rush him too? And because I have better multitasking or better micro, I think I can win this fight.
Yeah. Gas versus gas first always brings in some really interesting games. You know, not just your typical, okay, let's both expand and get towards that mid-game together and get that economy going. It's more so, like you were saying, those micro tricks, those micro-heavy units coming out here, that tech coming out from both players. But now, the Marines have been made for both players, and neither guy scouted here. So, yeah, we're actually not going to see either of these players know what the other guy is doing.
In TBT, an SCV scout is, you know, sometimes something you just want to completely cut out because you can use a Reaper delayed anyways to get the same information and perhaps some damage done. And with the SCV, you're not going to be able to get in the main base if you scout wrong. If you scout wrong, then your SCV is just wasted. You know where your opponent is, but you know nothing else. And no matter what happens when you get there, you're going to get killed by Marines at the very least. So it's kind of one of these things that sometimes on a 3-player map or a 4-player map, players will choose just not to scout with that. And in this case, we do see Center is going to choose this Reaper scout. He's going to come in here. He's going to see the gas first. He's going to see the double gas. Going to see the tech lab. He knows everything. It cost him 50 gas to do this, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'd actually see Center's in a bit of a better position here. He's going to get all the scouting information you were talking about, but he never took a second gas here. He was only, you know, getting that factory out very fast right after the barracks with this kind of build. And he gets a much slower starport here, whereas INnoVation, he took a second gas, and he's going Banshees with Cloak, but back at Center's base, he's already got that CC coming up here on the low ground, especially after looking at that build. He was like, oh, okay, I can just throw this down. And as long as he gets some turrets up, should be quite fine. Looks like he's just going to go for Widow Mines, actually, instead.
Yeah, he might get some turrets up a little bit later, but he's going to have to do that soon. Yeah, I was about to say, the window of time is closing. Gets the eBay now. This Reaper barely survives here. He just YOLO'd it into the main base. He's going to harass a little bit, also confirming the Cloak is still researching, confirming that's still coming down his pipeline. Now he's going to get turrets. Can actually choose to make really up to 3 turrets.
Yeah, he's got everything against this. He's got the turrets, like you were saying. He's got a Viking coming his way. He's got Widow Mines, and they're out on the map. He's going to try to snipe it, maybe get the Banshee flying.
Well, like I said, he can make up to 3 turrets. 1 turret gets spotted here. And
oh no! Here we go.
God, he walks right into it. That's
unbelievable.
That's so huge.
Yeah.
That's a ton of gas spent. You might want to cancel that Cloak right now. You might want to consider that because he's making a Raven. Did he cancel that? No, he didn't.
Nope. It's completed. And like you were saying, he's got no Banshees out on the map. That Widowmine placement was just huge. Center actually understanding this matchup very well, as we're seeing right off the get-go.
Yeah. That's a great opening here. He has the faster CC. It's mining. It's an orbital. He has turrets in place, 3 of them. Nothing is going to come in here and harass him later, Banshee-wise. He's also got, Vikings out to help shut down drops. He has map control with Hellions. Everything is going his way. Not to mention, he still has Widow Mines to stop future Banshees and possible dropships, and it's going to give him vision. So he's in a great spot here.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, the positioning of this one Widow Mine out on the map is so cool because he can actually bait some Marines. If INnoVation does walk out on the map into the middle of the map, he can actually bait some Marines out into that Widow Mine and get a huge hit. He's not paying attention. Even able to use these Hellions to come in here and scout. Okay, you're making tanks. So you got your first tank out there right at that orbital in the natural. Also scouts the orbital timing as well.
Now, all 3 turrets are going to be, very helpful in the defense here. But look at this. Look at the Viking path. What's the one place a Widow Mine doesn't know about is the right side of the map. He sends the Vikings in the correct direction, just barely misses. You got 1 Viking home for safety, and this turret's going to give vision. Probably won't even really have to scan. He's going to be able to ward this Banshee off pretty easily. Already a few kills, though, because he doesn't react with that Viking immediately. In fact, bringing only Marines over here. He needs to pull his Vikings back, and now he is. But it's really easy for him to clear this Banshee up again. And only 2 kills for 2 Banshees and Cloak Research is not enough. He needs to get more done. Let's see what he can get done here. It looks like already that 3rd one and the 4th one. That could be it, though.
Yeah, it's looking like he's going to try to save that Banshee. I mean, it's still got some energy on it. And there's actually a 3rd one coming across the map as well. And he may want to pull those Vikings out of position towards the left side and run in with the other one towards that natural. So he's trying to get some decent damage done here, actually. He's up to 6 kills now, 7.
Yeah.
And he's got another Banshee here.
Not bad. This second Banshee getting a Marine kill might get 2. Getting a little bit too close to that turret, though.
Oh, baby. Survives with 2 health.
Oh, and look at this. Drop Hellions in the main base. Don't think he's going to get much done here. It looks like no SCVs killed as far as I could tell. I don't even think to friendly fire there on the siege tank. I don't think that shows up in our GameHeart UI, but just an interesting pressure play here. Banshee's got to go all the way home. So that 1 Banshee got a decent amount of kills, but for 3 Banshees, absolutely not ideal here for INnoVation.
Oh, yeah. Especially that first one. So, let's take a look at what these 2 players are doing now. We got +1 on the way here for infantry weapons, rather, for both players. So it looks like they're definitely going to go heavy on that Marine kind of composition with some tanks in the background. And actually, Center's pushing out in the middle of the map.
I haven't seen a bio-tank, TET in a really long time, actually, in Korea, so I'm pretty excited about this. He's actually going to miss this. And you need a lot of Marines to kill this, and you have to use scans, so I like that he's doing this. He protects Widow Mine with a few more Marines here. The faster stim does go to INnoVation, so he has that already, whereas Center is a little bit behind, but he's going to have stim and combat shields actually together first, and he's going to have the +1. This Banshee's coming in at a great time. There's no units nearby. Finding that sweet spot away from the turret is going to force these Marines to come down, and this is a really cool move. I like this. Come back in with that repaired Banshee. Throw Center off guard here. 5 kills.
Really, really cool what he's doing over there with the Banshee, but we actually got Center in a great position here at those gases. Like we were saying before, gas is so important in this matchup. You need to get those tanks. You need to get those air units as well.
Upgrades, everything. Gas is so important in this matchup. It's a mirror matchup where unit counts don't matter as much as positioning oftentimes, but when you're fighting... He smelled some fire here. That was close.
He actually slips in between the 2 Widow Mines.
But those Widow Mines give vision. That's what allows Center to know that he has a good position here where he doesn't have to worry about units catching him off guard while he sieges this up. Now, he's already knows this. He's already got all of his units perfectly in position in the main. It looks like he wants INnoVation to unload with how he's positioned here. He scans INnoVation's like, oh, God, you are so ready. Those Widow Mines have been so worth it. They've gotten him so much vision. All right, SCV is being pulled. Big stim here. He wants to get in on top of those tanks before they siege. And actually a great position here by INnoVation. That scan really helping him position himself here. Gets the best trade he could hope for.
Yeah, pretty decent trade. He gets 19 SCV kills here. And he's actually going to keep this alive for a little bit. But once the tanks of Center do follow up here, he's going to be forced to pick up and drop away.
I actually didn't think he was going to be able to live like that. I knew he was going to kill a lot of SCVs, but he actually won the fight too. That's because all these Center units are out of position. Something INnoVation also knows. It looks like he was considering trying to go over there and just smash that small force because he knows it's isolated.
Oh, this is so cute. He's got those Vikings there, and the second INnoVation moves out, dropping there in the natural. He has to pay attention, though. He does not want to lose those Vikings, but he loses two.
Yeah, and this army is going to get crushed now. He's going to just pre-split and then run in. And actually, good move here by Center to actually just lift up and run away, but he's going to eventually lose that. Huge drop in the main base. He knows that INnoVation is much less prepared, but a few more units coming up, and this drop is not in a good position.
Really not a great position here. The SCVs immediately jumping on this, and they don't have much, support here, these tanks. So actually, Center losing a ton of units here, dropping in supply rapidly, but he is going for another drop here in the natural. But again, INnoVation is in position.
Yep, he's in position. This is a smaller drop. Few SCVs do go down. Worker count right now actually very low for both players. Center's taking the lead in that regard at 29 to 25. But army-wise, INnoVation has the better army. He's got the larger army, so you can use that to drop and pressure on the map. He's got control of the middle of the map as well. I feel like just the experience of INnoVation is showing here.
Yeah.
Center had a huge early game lead, but he wasn't able to roll with that and actually capitalize on it as well as he would have liked to. He had great vision. I'm really liking the way he's playing it. I like his strategy. But his experience here is just it's not what INnoVation has in recent times. He's just clearly more confident, more comfortable in this mid game right now.
Oh my God!
Seeker
missiles coming onto the tanks. He is running away here, and there are just so many Marines here for INnoVation. There's just not enough stuff here for Center. He's pulling the SCVs, but looks like INnoVation is going to be able to win this one.
Yeah, just a small little window of time where he had way too many units, and he knew it. He knew that Center traded way too much army in that big drop, and he also got a great positive trade in Center's base with his own drop, using that scan to position his army to the top left. And that's all she wrote for this game. Looks like SKT going to take another win here to take the 2-0 lead. And like Marine King, Center's having some trouble accepting defeat.
That he is. Well, GG has finally called. INnoVation taking game number 2 here for SK Telecom.
And that was a tough win. He started things off with a bit of a rough time with his Banshees. Didn't get a ton of damage done. Was patient, though. Came back, sent his Banshee, repaired it. Came for some later harassment. Did a big commitment to drop harass, which unfortunately for Center didn't get hit by Widow Mines. Center thought his positioning in his main base, since he knew the drop was coming, was going to be enough. INnoVation got into that perfect spot at the top left of the base. And too many SCVs went down, and he won the fight. And then from there, Center felt desperate to do damage. A ton of his army was out of position, where it could be easily surrounded and cut off. If you fight 1/4 of a TBT army all by itself, and you just take it with almost no losses, you're going to be in a great position.
Yep, and that's exactly what he was able to do. Just kind of outposition Center there. Center was looking okay, especially with his builds in the beginning, but like you were saying, INnoVation, just very solid overall. And he will not go down easily. And already SKT is just looking super strong, especially with these two players. Dark really getting his time to shine here, going out first. And now INnoVation, one of their newer pickups, really showing what he's made of.
Well, this is looking pretty bad for MVP in their opening match. I feel like Center losing to INnoVation is no surprise, but Marine King's loss on top of that, and the way Center lost from being ahead and just kind of crumbling under the pressure, playing against someone who's got so much recent experience, like INnoVation, someone who's really confident and quite clearly the favorite, someone who's just in the late game a better player. He's shown it, he's proven it, it's a fact. To take an early lead and still lose that momentum, end up losing to INnoVation like this, scouting a drop and still failing to defend it, that's a big momentum shatterer, I feel like. And
somehow INnoVation was able to find like a tiny piece of that island there to get a decent drop on. But, Center and Marine King, they didn't play terribly. And I'm more so looking forward to seeing these teams, especially MVP, a little bit later on, because they are a new team. They have a lot of younger players, and if they can get the coaching in, get the playing in, maybe by round 3, round 4, they really make a splash.
It's kind of what we saw from MVP last season, especially with players like, for example, Billowy coming in with some great snipe builds, Tails coming out as well.
In round 2, definitely making a huge splash there.
So, it took them a little bit of time to get ready, but then they kind of fell off after that. I'm hoping that if MVP is able to do the same thing this season, they end up being a little bit more consistent towards the end of Pro League.
Yep.
So, I was just going to say, we've got 2 pro losses left for them, and we're going to start things off with a PvP with Seed versus Classic. coming up next, and they've only got one life left. If either Seed or Younghwa falls in these upcoming PvPs and then a PvZ, then they are going to lose this match. And SKT, they were the favorites today, and they're showing it so far.
Yep. Classic here. He's definitely very known to be good against Zerg, but also pretty good against Protoss. And Seed, he's got to prove himself here. He's got to come in here and show himself here.